Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 4 hearings with a high conflict couple who spend the first 2 hearings bickering about service of documents. The judge even calls witnesses to help them figure things out. Once that's out of the way, Mom demands some sort of drug test because she claims her children were taken away for 2 months due to a false claim that she was using drugs. She says CPS has closed the case. Dad says he'll agree to her parenting plan, but only if she passes the test. Will she pass? Let's find out.
Next, I have Rachel Roach and Joseph Roach, cause number 24-3-10708. I see Ms. Roach is approaching. Thanks for being here. Please, you're perfectly positioned. That's great. And then Mr. Roach, you're present. Great. If you go ahead and just position yourself in front of that microphone and get it close to your mouth. This is on for a motion for temporary orders brought by Ms. Roach. So as far as the service, it looks like I saw service of the petition and summons, proposed parenting plan, financial declaration upon Mr. Roach, looks like on March 1st. Did you get copies of those documents, Mr. Roach?
No, it was not served.
Okay, so I'm looking here on, just going to pull up an affidavit of service. So I'll share with you what I'm seeing. This is filed on March 4th. It indicates Barbara Thomas is not a party to the case, and she served documents to Joseph E. Roach Jr. by giving the documents to Bo Nelson, who is a person suitable age and discretion who lives at the same address of the party, which is up on Mount Brinion in Kelso on March 1st at about 7:13 p.m. And that was signed on March 1st. So that's the information I have.
My dad's never met her friend's mom that supposedly served him, and he's here to say that never happened.
Okay,
And
so
I'd like to continue this on until I speak to counsel.
Okay.
I'd like to say that Barbara has the same name as her mom.
Barbara
Barbara Thomas
Thomas.
is 33. She is the daughter of
Mm,
Barbara Thomas.
My dad never got any paperwork handed to him.
Okay, and your dad is Bo Nelson.
Yes, and he's sitting right back there.
Okay. All right. So let me just go back a little bit. Let's kind of pause on that for a second. We'll come back to it. The second issue I just wanted to briefly address is a notice for today's hearing. Looks like that was Ms. Roach, you filled that document out, a notice of hearing for today's hearing.
Yeah.
And did you supply a copy of that to Mr. Roach?
I paid Cowlitz County Sheriffs to serve him.
Okay. All right. So that particular, and did they give you a document back that they had served him?
I have not gotten anything. When he was served a harassment order, I got it in the mail saying that they had served him, but I haven't gotten service.
Any of that back from them?
No.
Okay. All right. So normally, and I'm sure you're probably both fairly well aware of this, but as far as one of the bedrocks of our system is notice and opportunity to be heard. And so there's kind of an initial threshold issue that we need to resolve is the issue of service. So whether Mr. Roach was served or not served, apparently there's a dispute related to that. So I think we need to hear, we need to have a hearing related to a hearing from Barbara Thomas, who indicated that she served, and then
I have audio on my phone or Barbara's phone of Bo receiving the paperwork from me because it was during a visit exchange because there is a restraining order against Joseph and I. So
I paid for the paperwork.
Bo was receiving the kids and took the documents from me.
okay. Oh, wait. Who's talking? No. You're not a party, you're involved. And it's pretty clear from the way we proceeded today that I'm not allowing third parties to enter into the discussion. So if I need your input, I'll invite you to provide your input. You're not free to just interrupt the proceedings. Any questions on that? Yes, no? Thanks. So there's a dispute as to service. We're not going to have the hearing today. We're going to set it over for a period of time to allow parties to prepare for that. So you can bring your witnesses, you can bring your audio, you can play it, and then we can make a determination if there was service and if there wasn't. If there was service, we'll move forward with the motion. If there's not service, then we'll have to take a different tack.
Your Honor, my biggest concern right now is that my kids have not seen their dad due to fear of,
Don't interrupt. It's
so,
pretty clear how I've run my courtroom here today, and I'll just reiterate the process. When one person speaks, I allow them to speak. People don't interrupt.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm the judge, I have a prerogative. Sometimes I need to direct people and sometimes I do need to interrupt. And so I reserve that for myself. But as a general rule, I allow people to say their piece. And then once they're done, then I'll allow you to say your piece. And then once you're done, there'll be no interruption of either party. Go ahead.
so I understand that we're not putting anything in place today, but my kids have not seen their dad since April 7th when they were returned to me, due to having false allegations put on me. I had CPS called on me saying I was on drugs, which I will gladly take a hair follicle for. CPS obviously said I wasn't on drugs. They have dropped my case. So my concern right now is I want my kids to see their dad. They need a relationship with their dad just as much as they need a relationship with me. And so I would like something in order if that's possible. That way I know my kids are going to be returned to me on Sunday if I send them on Friday.
Okay.
And there weren't any issues with Friday to Sunday before the CPS matter was brought up.
Okay. So the issue that we're talking about today, the threshold issue is service. We still need to sort that out. So I'd invite the parties to come to court next week on the 15th at 9 o'clock in the morning with witnesses. It'll be a very short hearing. Witnesses will be put under oath and you'll share your information. So if Ms. Thomas is available, make sure that she's available. And then if Mr. Nelson is here, make sure he's available and we'll hear testimony.
Sorry, can I correct her last name? Her last name is Bartlett. It should be Bartlett on there.
If you need to file an amended document, you can do that. Verbally, I'm not gonna do that. If you want to file an amended proof of personal
Does
service
it
with
show
a
Thomas or
different name.
Bartlett on
It's, well, the document I'm looking at was filed on March 4th. It says, my name is Barbara Thomas. I'm not a party to the case and I served Joseph E. Roach Jr. by serving Bo Nelson.
Okay, I'll have to see if she changed it on her ID or not.
Okay, all right. So we'll be back here on that date. As far as the request for a kind of a temporary parenting plan or the like, I'm not going to entertain that at this point. The substance of the issue is the parenting plan, and then we'll address that next week if we get beyond the threshold of the service issue. Any
Okay.
questions?
No, that's it.
Any
I
questions?
don't plan on keeping my kids from her.
Okay.
I don't see the
So
reasoning behind it. I haven't done anything, never kept my kids from her.
yeah, so the issue is the parenting plan. We'll take that up next week if we get beyond the service issue.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, great. We'll see everybody then. Next, I have Bailey Keegan and Stephen Trotter, cause number 24-3-19408. All right, we have Ms. Roach is here, Mr. Roach is here. All right, great. And thanks for positioning yourselves in front of the microphones. When we were here last week, there was an indication there was some question as far as service. That's what we talked about last week, and we talked about having a hearing here today regarding that issue. So it was related to the proposed temporary parenting plan. I think that's where you, Mr. Roach, indicated that's a document that you had not received. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I got that from here.
Okay, so you have a copy of it.
Yeah, I paid to have it printed.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
After I left court on Wednesday, it was returned to me by the sheriff's department in my mail. So
Okay.
they just couldn't locate him. I have it in my folder here.
Okay. All right, so just want to make sure we're on the same page. So the information that you got back there is returned. It wasn't able to be served. The documents that you got back were the petition, the summons, the parenting plan, the financial declaration, those documents?
For the temporary plan, yes.
Yeah, okay, for the temporary
I
parenting
think
plan.
that there was a misunderstanding last week at the court hearing. The service that Barbara was able to serve Bo was service for the petition for a divorce and parenting plan, which wasn't the case, or it wasn't the issue that we were on last week.
Yeah, so it looks like what, I guess Barbara Thomas. She indicated that she served Mr. Roach by giving documents to Bo Nelson back on March 1st and gave him a copy of the petition for divorce, a summons, a proposed parenting plan, financial declaration. So I guess that's the one question I have, is that the proposed parenting plan, Mr. Roach said he received all the documents from her, but he didn't get the proposed parenting plan. Is that what you said?
No, I
last week?
didn't. I didn't receive any documents that I know of. I got all documents I got here.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have a
They have
Oh,
video.
hold on. So, and then Mr. Nelson, his relation?
He's my dad.
He's your dad. Okay. And is he here today?
Yes.
Okay. And he was here last week, I think, too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if
Okay.
she gave him papers, she didn't say like, this is service papers.
Yeah, you don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to. You just need to give the documents to the person, then they kind of the idea is that a person gets documents, they'll read over them and go from there. So you were gonna say?
Yes, I have video proof from the day that, Bo was served the divorce documents. This was during a transfer because
Do you
Anne.
have that video with you today?
I'm sorry,
Do you have that video with you today?
I do, yeah.
So one way we could do it, I could hold it up to the camera, and then you would
It's-
all be able to see it and hear it.
It's more of an audio, but you can see her going up to his car. There's a picture of the service proof. And then when she gets back in, she says that it.
So just like last week, I told Mr. Nelson not to interrupt. I'll tell you the same thing. Don't interrupt. If I need your assistance, I'll call upon you, but don't interrupt, please. Any questions about that? So, Mr. Roach, do you have any concerns if I were to listen to that audio / video?
No.
Okay, why don't you have it and bring it up, and we'll put it up on the camera and get it on the microphone. And then, Madam Clerk, if we could make my box big, because I'm unmuting, and then I'm pressing, gonna press here and then get the microphone so we can all hear, so. Okay, let's see.
It's pretty dark because it was a 7 PM transfer, so it was still.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, bud. Hey. Help him here. Oh.
How long is the video?
1 minute and 57 seconds.
Okay.
It's a little muffled.
That's it. We're just in the meeting. We love our kids and that's it. That's great. Yeah, that's it. That's all it needs to be. We don't need any. Yeah. So,
Like, I don't want to sit down.
we bet, well, yeah. Like a whole mortgage, you know, now.
So I was like, gotta make sure they eat.
You probably won't fish her out for that. I'll put a traffic on them. I
Okay,
guarantee
you
it.
guys.
Talk to them. Can you give me any help, man, girl?
Done. 7:12 to 7:14.
Hand you back your phone. But Ms. Roach, why don't you tell me about that video, and then we'll hear from Mr. Roach.
Huh?
I'm gonna ask her to tell me more about that video, and then you can share what your thoughts are about that video.
So it's pretty muffled, just because the phone was in the car while he was receiving the documents, but, you can hear her saying these are for Joe. And he said he already received a copy of these and she said, no, this is something different. It needs to be looked over more. And he says, okay, I guess I'll serve these to him. And she said, thank you. And they both left. And then that's when she got in and said, done 7:12 to 7:14, which was written 7:13 for the service.
Thanks. Mr. Roach?
I don't know of any of the papers. The only reason I know about any of this is because I came to the courthouse.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then Ms. Roach, oh, go ahead.
That was just because I seen her here coming out of the courthouse with paperwork, so I wanted to come see what else might have been filed or whatever.
Okay. All right, good. Ms. Roach, do you have the, is Barbara Thomas in the courtroom today?
Yeah.
Why don't you invite Ms. Thomas to come forward and sit next to you, and then I'll hear brief testimony from her, and then I'll hear brief testimony from Mr. Nelson. Go ahead and take a seat adjacent and get as close to the microphone as you can. All right, if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please state your name and spell your last name.
Barbara Thomas, or known by Barbara Bartlett, either or. Thomas is Thomas, Bartlett is Bartlettete.
Thank you. What do you know about any service of documents upon Mr. Roach or Mr. Nelson?
Rachel asked me to serve Joe. I met Joe's dad, Bo, in the parking lot at the Zion Church. I handed him paperwork. I said, these are for Joe. He said, he already has all these? And I said, no, this is something completely different that he needs to get. And he said, okay, I'll give it to him. And I said, okay, and that was that.
And what did you give him?
For the divorce and the parenting plan. I don't know exactly.
Okay,
name is
it was
actually-
represented in the document that you signed.
Huh?
There was a document that you signed. It's a declaration or proof of personal service. Do you remember filling that document out?
Right, I don't remember exactly.
Okay, it said that you gave the following documents to Mr. Nelson: a petition for divorce, a summons, a proposed parenting plan, and a financial declaration.
Yes,
Does that sound right?
yeah, and I recorded every single document that was on there too.
All right, thank you. You're free to take a seat back. And then, Mr. Nelson, do you mind coming forward? And if you wouldn't mind just taking a seat adjacent to Mr. Roach, and then move the microphone close to your mouth. Perfect. And then if you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Will you please state your full name and spell your last name?
O.J. Nelson,
Thank-
Nelson.
Thank you. Tell me what you know about any service or non-service.
I had no idea it was being served. Most of my knowledge, you actually had to inform someone they're being served, not just toss them mail, basically. Or here's just some papers
Mhm.
and move on. I was paying attention to 3 kids I was trying to load in a car, make sure they're secured, seat belted, ready to go. And they're all trying to talk to me, hadn't seen me in a week. All super excited, yelling in my ear, happy, all trying to argue to talk to me at the same time. And I did not realize anything was actually serious or real that needed to be taken care of. But it's just some paper. Okay.
What
So
did
I
you,
didn't press any importance upon it. I didn't really think that it was that important. It wasn't like, you're being served. This is important court paperwork. Oh, okay, thank you. I would have
Mhm.
passed some importance upon it and actually made sure it was delivered properly. And instead of it's just some paperwork. Like, don't worry about it. Here.
okay. And then what did you think the papers were?
I didn't even look at them. I just figured it was personal crap. It's not up to me, or it's not my stuff to read.
And what did you do with the papers?
Last I knew, they were on the seat of the car, and I told him they were in there, but there's some papers in the car. Should probably
Okay.
grab them when he got home from work, but that was it. I didn't realize it was actual stuff that was serious.
What did the papers look like? I mean, is it,
I didn't look at just a couple, like a fold of paper. I just sat it on the seat. I didn't look at it. Wasn't really thinking anything about it. I was trying to pay attention to
good?
kids. And I do remember, I did hear it in there too. I'm not here to do anything besides transport kids.
Gotcha. And then do you and Mr. Roach live together?
He has a large travel trailer up on my property up on Mount Vernon.
Property. Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Any further comment from either party related to the service issue?
No, I just believe that the only service issue is the temporary order.
All right. Well, having heard from the parties, I heard from Ms. Thomas or Ms. Bartlett. She indicated that she met Mr. Nelson at the Zion Church on, looks like on March 1st of this year, and said these are for Joe, and he said, I'll give them to Joe. And then Mr. Nelson indicated that, you know, he's busy with 3 kids, getting him in the car. They were excited to see him, lots of chatter going on. He had no idea what it was, and his impression was that if you're being served with, you know, official court documents, you had to say something like, hey, I'm serving you official court documents, or you're served, or some, you know, kind of language to tip him off. And he just didn't think they were important, just thought of some personal stuff, tossed him on the seat and said, hey, Joe, there's some papers on the seat. I guess is kind of the idea. And that they live on, Mr. Roach and Mr. Nelson live on the same property. So with that information, it looks like the service was properly effectuated on March 1st. You know, and I think a lot of times in the media, we see, you know, those famous words, you're served, you know, kind of dramatic fashion. There's no necessary requirement for that. It's basically that the documents are given to an individual who's a person of suitable age and discretion that lives at the same property with the other party. So they call that substitute service, and that's allowed by the court rules. So I'll find that there was proper service. So now that takes us to the point where we've established that there's been proper service. And it sounds like Mr. Roach has got copies of the documents. So now I know what Ms. Roach wants as far as a parenting plan. I don't know what you want. And so that's where you would submit your declarations and information related to your proposed parenting plan and your declarations of why you feel that parenting plan is in the best interest of the child, or the children, pardon me. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So service is good. That first hurdle has been cleared. Then the next step is to hear from both parties as to what, I know what Ms. Roach wants as far as the parenting plan. I need to hear what Mr. Roach wants for his parenting plan. So as far as getting that information submitted, what are your timeframes? What are you thinking is, how long will it take you to get that proposed parenting plan in, and any declarations supporting your position?
As soon as possible.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just set a time frame? You know, this has been pending for quite some time. So with today being the 15th, let's set the case for May 29th. May 29th is a Wednesday. It's 2 weeks from today. That means, Mr. Roach, you'll need to get your proposed parenting plan, and also any declarations from yourself and other people that kind of explain the situation. You'll need to have those filed by the 20th and send a copy to Ms. Roach. And then Ms. Roach will have an opportunity to respond or reply to your documents with any declarations that she has. So any questions on how we're going to proceed?
Yeah, confused.
Yeah. So a couple different things. There's
how was I supposed to, like, I give her a copy?
So yeah, it's a great question. Ms. Roach has an address on 27th Avenue.
I don't know where that's at.
You can mail them to her. You can mail them to her at that address, and then you have to submit a document like proof of personal service, or a declaration of service, or an affidavit of service that, so there's a couple of things I want you to remember. WashingtonLawHelp.org, WashingtonLawHelp.org. Go there, look under divorce, and then you'll find lots of information about service, declarations of service, and you'll also find, and they'll have blank forms. And they'll also have blank forms for proposed parenting plans. And so you just fill those out, and then you'll send a copy of them to Ms. Roach at her address on 27th Avenue, and then you'll file the originals with the court. And so we have those, and you have to do that by the 20th, by Monday, the 20th, by 5 p.m. I think the clerk's office closes at 4:30, so be there before 4:30. So those are the next steps. If you have any declarations or comments about your proposed parenting plan, look under that same website, WashingtonLawHelp.org, and they'll have those same forms, and you can type those out or write them out by hand and submit them to the court.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still can't see my kids.
At this point, I'm not making any ruling, because I don't know what the status of your viewpoint is and her viewpoint is either. So that's why it's important for you to have your voice heard, and your voice is gonna be heard via your declaration, which you're gonna submit, and your voice will be heard on the 29th of May at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Ms. Roach, do you have any questions?
So we're not putting anything in place today?
Correct,
Okay,
correct. All right, so we'll see everybody on the 29th of May.
thank
All
you.
right, thanks.
Good, go to the clerk thing, you get the parenting plan, or never mind, you said go online.
Yeah, you can go to the clerk's office and you can buy, I think you can get a packet there. That's one option. So you can check with them or the Washington Law Help. Yeah.
You can chat and go about that. Okay, Roach and Roach. Morning, I can have you two at the table there. So this one, I know the state indicated they were not involved, so give me just a second here. This one I had a couple questions about as well. Let me just double check. Looks like there was this was. Did you receive a copy of his response, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, that was filed on the 20th. So I was I guess a little confused on this one. You got two kids together. And then he has, you've got a child separately that you've got custody of, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And his response to your request, I guess I'm I'm a little, again, I'm trying to track through this. You're agreeable to her parenting plan if she passes a drug test, and if not, you want something different. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I get that scheduled for today? I just would like to get it done and over with.
Get what?
Drug test of any form.
There, we don't do drug tests. You just need to go to a drug screening place. I mean, I could have offender services do a drug test if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, well, with him requesting it, I would like for him to pay for the expense of that.
Okay, I don't think,
That's if you pass it, right?
I'm sorry?
I'm fine with paying for it if it's passed,
Okay,
but if it's not passed, then.
so I don't think, they don't charge upstairs at offender services, do they?
I'm not sure, but I think you do have to write a court order.
Right. So if I send you upstairs to offender services, they'll do it. They don't charge for that, and they'll send back the result, you know.
Yeah, I didn't want just a pee test or a hair follicle. I wanted like a fingernail.
Okay,
Something that goes
well,
back.
they would either do a hair follicle or they'll do a UA.
All right.
I'm okay with submitting to both.
Okay. So if we do that, we don't do hair follicles upstairs. They just do the UA test. If you want to do a hair follicle test, you'll have to go to like workplace wellness or someplace
So I
like
wanted
that.
like a fingernail because pee and like hair is like able to not able to get it past the test and still be on something. I know people that have done it.
Is there somewhere that does nail drug test? Because I will do that as well.
I think workplace wellness, I believe, does those, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
But any of the agencies that do drug
fine with
treatment
it.
and that sort of thing typically do those, or they can get you referred to somebody. But I'll need to have, I guess if you want to do that, I'm not gonna be able to address the order necessarily today, because you'll
I'm
have
fine.
to.
I'm fine with that. I just want to see my kids.
Okay,
Yeah, so the issue right now is I filed a temporary parenting plan that has been pushed over several weeks. And so Joseph hasn't seen the kids in almost 2 months because of my fear of non-return. So I was just hoping that we could get something in place for that, at least temporary parenting plan, so that the kids can see their dad.
okay.
It's been 2 months for my daughter and just about 2.5 for my son.
So how about if we do this? If I just do an order that says you're gonna do a hair follicle test. And in the and I can set it out a couple of weeks, and in the meantime, so we can get the results. In the meantime, I can set up an order that says he's can have whatever visits we all agree to.
And
Between now and then.
also,
Does that work?
like the restraining order to be taken off, so I can pick up my kids and it's not my dad's responsibility or my grandma's responsibility, and maybe on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, she has something going on, like, hey, could you have the kids for the night? I could like go pick them up instead of being like, oh, hey, dad, what are you doing? Or hey, grandma, what are you doing? And
Okay, well,
it's not,
here's the thing. If you want it, if you guys agree to to a parenting plan, that's fine. If you have, it sounds like there's some issues here which may be bigger than just what I'm aware of. If you want to have, we can also appoint a guardian ad litem to look at the case to give some recommendations as to a parenting plan.
What
If-
is the cost of that?
What, are you currently employed, ma'am?
I am, yeah.
And what,
I just had CPS in my home, so, which I had just submitted this morning, documentation from that.
what's your approximate take-home income?
Just under 1,900
Can you
before taxes are deducted.
Okay, before taxes?
Yeah,
Okay, so quite a bit less. And sir, are you employed?
no, just do side jobs,
Okay,
firewood,
he's been employed under the table for 4 years at $20 an hour.
no, I haven't.
so probably at this point, we could appoint it at county expense, so it wouldn't be a cost for that, but there would be some time involved. You're not gonna have an answer today or even in 2 weeks.
Right. I'm fine with the guardian ad litem coming into my home.
Okay, does that work for you, sir?
Yeah,
Okay, so who's our next 3 guardians?
Twyla Corey, Amy Turnbull, and Karen Lawrence.
All right, so you each have the ability to say, I don't want one of those in that order. If you don't care, it would be Miss Corey. If you either of you have an issue with her, then,
I don't care.
No issues with any.
okay, so I'll appoint Twyla Corey. Let's see. Take me just a minute here to get this put together.
Okay.
Miss Corey, we're appointing you in this case. Yeah, so you're her. What are,
I heard that. Is that
it's
Miss Roach?
Roach and Roach 24310708. It'll be at county expense. Normally we're putting that first review. How far out do you want those normally? 2 weeks?
Typically 4 weeks.
4 weeks out? Okay, so that's 26th. So I'll put that on for June 26th, which is 4 weeks from today. Then I think I'm gonna go out for I don't know if this is gonna be an extensive investigation on this one, but let's go to maybe the 23rd of August for a report.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, I won't put a middle interim on that. I don't, unless you think there's a need for it once you get involved.
August 23rd is a Friday.
That's just for filing a report, and I'll put a review.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I can review that on the 28th.
I believe I'm going to be out of town that week.
Okay.
So if we could go into the 4th. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So review on 9/4. Okay. At this point, I think what I'm going to do, I've got a proposed order here, but I think what I'm going to do on this order, instead of entering a full temporary parenting plan under section 14. And maybe that's, we'll need their signatures.
Your Honor, I know that he had requested every weekend, which I originally was fine with, but I think that I'm getting in a job where I'll have weekends off, so I am just requesting at least 1 weekend a month with my kids.
Okay. Does that work for you, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so how about if we put,
And then in the meantime, if he wanted them for that weekend that he has off, we can figure out maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday or something. Whatever he's in agreement of.
what my thought would be, since it's been a little while since he's had much contact, any objection to him having this weekend, and then you would have the second weekend of the month?
Yes, that works.
Okay. So the second weekend of each month would be with mom. And when, were you gonna go from Friday to Sunday or Saturday, Sunday? What's,
Friday, I believe.
We were usually doing Friday at 7 PM to Sunday around 5 PM.
does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then I'm putting in here, any other visitations agreed, so if the two of you come to, you need to have him have the kids for a particular time, or he wants to make some different arrangements, you can always agree to that. If not, it's just, you'd have the second weekend of the month, plus they live with you, and then he would have all the rest of the weekends,
Okay.
okay? That's from 7 Friday until Sunday at 5. So the rest of the parenting plan, we're gonna deal with that after Miss Corey has a chance to look at your case. All right.
And so we have a hearing on the 12th via Zoom for the drug request. Can we?
Which?
For the drug request, but since we are gonna take care of that today, I'm not sure what we can do about that court date.
The 12th, I don't have anything on here for the 12th. When did that get? Oh, I was gonna do that. Strike that. You don't have to come back for that.
Okay.
But I still need to have you do a drug test, which I will do an order on that separately.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna have you go, it's upstairs, you just go up the elevator and that's the only thing up there.
Okay.
Then they'll give you a copy of this order and they will do a drug test. They'll send it back for filing with the court. So you won't get a direct copy, sir, but it'll be in the court file. And then we'll take a look at that. The guardian ad litem can take a look at that as well. She can have the yellow copy of that, take
So,
upstairs.
am I allowed to talk to her about my kids or?
Do you have any objection to that, ma'am?
So yeah, my
Pick
next
up
question was,
Kids,
I don't want the restraining order lifted, but we would like to communicate about the kids and the court case and see if we can come to an agreement without going to mediation.
Okay,
In the civil protection order, it does state that.
is that in the,
they
is that in
are
the,
able to have contractual visitation.
that's on the 2 case? Okay.
Okay, that's what I thought.
There is a caveat there too.
Okay,
It says they can
so that-
communicate for the purposes of their children.
Okay, so that's a separate case. That's not in front of me today. But if those provisions are already there, then you guys can talk about this case and that won't get you into any trouble. And you can also, whatever you need to do as far as exchanging the child is fine.
Okay,
So, okay.
so
So-
are we gonna do the Scion Church then at the bottom of the hill? Okay,
and so I still can't pick up my kids?
I'm sorry?
I still can't pick my kids up
Well, where did you
at
want
the
to?
church, at the bottom of the Zion Church at the bottom of Mount Bernier?
Does that work for both of you?
yeah, that's where we were meeting.
Okay.
But no, they said that we can meet to talk about kids and divorce and stuff like that.
They should probably both go to the counter after court and get copies of this,
Okay.
in the 2 case.
Okay, so exchange at the, what was the name of the church? It's
I
the,
don't-
I can't afford that.
it's the Zion.
The Zion Church on Minor Road at the end of Mount Bernier.
I'll put that right in here. The exchange will be at the Zion Church on Mount Brennan Road. Kids reside with mom. Mom has the second weekend, which would be not this weekend, but next weekend. You'll have the rest of the weekend from 5 or 7 on Friday till Sunday at 5. You're gonna go upstairs, do a drug test for me this morning, and then that's, we don't have a hearing on the 12th. Once we do have a hearing, which is set in here to review status of this, which will be on, what did I do with that? I think I put that in that other order.
June 26th.
Okay, on the 26th, and that's to make sure you've contacted Ms. Corey, so that she's ready to go ahead with her report if she's not at that juncture. Okay,
Okay, so we need to get in contact with the guardian ad litem.
correct,
Okay, and then 9 a.m. 26th.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, and here's this order, which I signed. I think that takes care of everything for you guys at this point.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck, and get in touch with Ms. Corey. She can give you some info on the parenting plan.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And it's straight up up the elevator. When you come out of the elevator, it's right there. Did you get a copy of this order? They'll take that and they'll take care of that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Corey.
Thanks. Right, next matter I have is Rachel Roach and Joseph Roach, 243-10708. Rachel Roach, are you on the line today?
Yes, I am.
Let's see, Ms. Roach, did I hear you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great, thank you. And then we have Joseph Roach who's here today. Okay,
Yes.
all right, welcome to you. All right, and then we also have Ms. Corey's on the line as the GAL. So I was handed some documents earlier today related to the case, so I have those in my possession. I also have it noted for today that this was Mr. Roach's motion for drug testing that you submitted back in May 29th for drug testing. And so as the service was good, that Ms. Roach received those documents. So that's why I know we're here. That's what it's docketed for today's hearing. And then I have these proposed orders that were submitted that have signatures from both Ms. Roach and Mr. Roach that relate to a parenting plan and also to child support. So let me just touch base, see where we're at. So Mr. Roach, what's happening with the case?
I agreed on like a final order.
Okay.
And all that and what I might be getting for disability for child support. And we agree on everything.
Okay. Do you have
I
any?
think she said we'd have to drop the guardian ad litem or something to be able to finalize the order. I'm not really sure.
Okay. Did you feel like you had enough time to go over all the paperwork?
Yeah, we met at a McDonald's and sat down and talked about it, and then just the other day we went and talked to a legal aid, I think, or an attorney or something like that. And she helped us through the paperwork
Okay.
and helped like tell us what we did wrong or right kind of thing.
Okay. Do you feel like there's any pressure or undue pressure or coercion for you
No.
to sign any of those documents?
Not at all.
Okay. And Ms. Roach, same questions for you. Do you feel like there's any duress or coercion or force being applied so that you'd sign off and agree to all this?
No,
Okay. Ms. Corey, did you receive a copy of those proposed orders?
I did not.
Okay.
This is also supposed to be the initial GAL review today.
Okay. Why don't we do the initial review from Ms. Corey, and then we'll talk about these potential proposed orders that have been signed by the parties. Ms. Corey, go ahead, please.
Ms. Roach has been very cooperative. She has returned her intake form, and I have an appointment set up with her for Friday, initial appointment. Mr. Roach, however, though, I mailed out the documents to him on May 30th, and because he requested them as a paper copy through the mail, I was unable to expedite that, and I have not received that back from him yet. Nor have I had any, he has not touched base with me at all about it. I did reach out to him. He said he had just gotten the intake. And I haven't seen it back. So it's been nearly a month.
Okay. And so really you don't have much information at all at this point,
right?
right? Okay. In your order of appointment, you were appointed back on May 29th, correct?
I believe that sounds right. Yes.
Okay. So let me hear from the parties. Ms. Roach, can I hear from you first as far as the court ordered that the guardian ad litem be appointed, and I can't remember if that was, I'm assuming that was that a request from either you or Mr. Roach?
It was offered and we both were in agreement. We didn't have any reason to not have a guardian ad litem.
Okay. Do you agree with that, Mr. Roach?
Yeah.
Okay. And did either of you send the proposed order that I have in my hands that you both signed off on? Did either of you send that to Ms. Corey?
No.
I did not, because when we had talked to the attorney over through Cowlitz Wahkiakum Legal Aid, they had said that since we're going to dismiss Twyla, that we don't need to send her orders.
Yeah, she's been appointed by the court by order. Let's see. She was appointed to investigate and report to the court on all issues related to making a parenting plan for the children, looking at potential issues of substance abuse and any other issues that could affect the safety of the children. So the court is still interested in her input. The parties indicated that they were okay with her being involved. So let me just check on one item before I continue. I'm just going to look back at some of the notes from previous cases. Ms. Corey, do you have any input related to if the court were to sign off on these orders that have been agreed upon by the parties? Do you have any input or any concerns related to that?
I have no information really on either party other than what I've heard here in the courtroom so far. So all I've really done is send the intakes out and speak with both parties on the telephone a couple of times and set up appointments.
Okay, all right, thanks. So we have the proposed parenting plan is for Father Mr. Roach to have the first, third, fourth, and fifth weekends, Friday, 7 p.m. to Monday at 8 a.m. And that Ms. Roach would be the primary custodial parent. Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Roach?
Yes.
Okay. And as far as child support, has a obligation of Mr. Roach to pay $100 a month? That sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We like did a like guesstimated what it might possibly be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently in a court case with Social Security income to get disability. So that's why it was an imputed income for him.
Okay.
And after this, I'm going down to Social Security to look up on it and see what's going on. They just told me it'll take a while. Last time I was there, I was like, is that a couple weeks, months, or like probably 6 months or something? I don't know to tell you. It'll take a while.
Yeah, usually doesn't happen very fast. So at this point, are you working right now?
No,
You're not. Okay. How are you supporting yourself?
my family's helping me and like side jobs here and there and like scrap runs and stuff,
Okay. All right.
firewood.
Okay.
Trying to sell my quad right now.
Okay. Does either party have any questions about the proposed orders that are here before the court?
Mm-mm.
Okay, Ms. Roach?
No.
Okay,
No, I don't think so.
okay. Ms. Corey, any final comments?
No,
All right.
And,
I think, oh, did you have another comment?
yeah, I was just gonna say, I have that paperwork. It has like a couple more pages that need filled out. I have to have help with it.
Which paperwork?
Otherwise you won't be able to read it.
Which paperwork?
The paperwork from the guardian ad litem.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Well, I think I was just taking a look at the case file to see if there was any large red flags that are waving at me or any big concerns that might be present or any issues of coercion or overbearing or undue influence and the like. I'm not sensing that. I'm relying on the parties to alert me of that. So as a general rule, I think as a general rule, the parties came here and said, hey, we have an issue. We can't decide on several issues related to the children. So the court started taking action related to that, appointed the guardian ad litem in hopes that that would provide any additional information. During the interim, the parties have put their heads together and have come to an agreement. So I tend to favor to allow the parties that are closest to an issue to resolve that issue through their own agreement. And if the parties can do that, then I'll allow that without any of those other signs being present of concerns. So I'll discharge Ms. Corey. You feel free to submit any billing that you would like. And we won't need to hear from her because I'm going to sign off on the orders that were presented to the court from the parties. So I'm signing those now. Okay, I've signed off on each and all of those orders. And I express my thanks and appreciation to the parties of working through those issues and being able to come to an agreement. That doesn't always happen, and that's okay. And to the degree that both of you can continue to co-parent together and for the benefit of your children, that does nothing but help your children to have a good, solid foundation in life. So thanks for your efforts with that, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
The guardian ad litem, the legal aid lady didn't wanna talk to us in the same room. She said there was too much conflict of interest or something like that,
Okay,
but we still did all right.
you're still able to work through things and
Yeah,
figure it out. Okay. All right, Ms. Corey, any final questions on your end?
no, sir, but I would mention to Ms. Roach that we would just cancel our appointment on Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Okay, very good. That'll conclude the hearing today. Thank you.
Thank you.